Okay, looks like we're recording. Hi, everyone. Hi, Keystone. Let's see. I wanted to cover some things in a video here and get caught up on some things as we head into next week. So I'm going to share my screen, and that should be like that. Just going to bring up the Keystone website here. And right, I mean, it looks good. You guys did a good job last semester. We are in the process of solving some personnel issues going forward so that we've got that in good shape. So keep doing what you're doing. And let's see, I believe I got an email that said that regular weekly meetings were Mondays at 6:30, as I recall. Typically, I can attend. You'll see me there sometimes and sometimes not. I'm always available. Oftentimes, I'll get there at early so that Bethany and I can meet. Bethany and I also hold a regular weekly meeting, and we go through the agenda. I may summon some of you from time to time to come and talk with me. I don't need to necessarily talk to the whole staff, but if I have questions, or especially with new hires, and also especially like with the business manager, because a lot needs to be explained. So that may happen. And at the same time, if you want to come and talk to me about your role with the Keystone or any ideas that you might have, then you're welcome to do that. To be clear, my role with the organization is publisher. So that's the structure, and that's the way the structure is in the world. So I try to bring that right into our academic experience here. So the publisher is often the owner, or there is a publisher who is hired by the owner to oversee typically multiple publications, right? So the New York Times has a publisher, and that person is responsible for any newsletters, any different divisions or sections, or all of that stuff. You make sure that the newspaper, the book, as they call it, the magazine, the newspaper, the publication goes out the door. Um, Bethany then is the editor in chief. So that is the person who handles day to day. So when Bethany and I meet, that is the conversation. From there, it's basically an even organization. There's not a lot of hierarchy going on here. You have to work with one another. I guess I would point to Alice, the managing editor position comes next. So if there is somebody that you kind of need to answer to, it's Alice, because Alice is going to make sure in working with Bethany and me that the stories are being assigned and moving through Trello on a regular basis. So it's basically a production manager. Okay, and then there are other roles. Let me continue down that path and go to about staff, bring you all up to speed on that. I don't, I'm not trying to reach past Bethany here, and I know that she's going to have an agenda for next Monday. Um, I was talking about whether or not I would be at the meetings. Typically, I am available. Again, sometimes I can show up and do a workshop at the beginning of the session, or maybe on the latter end of it. It all depends on what the staff needs are for me. If you're wondering why I'm not there for every minute of every session, it's because it's pretty clear that groups need to have the opportunity to normalize and form and gel, right? And do their thing and become their own unit without me sitting there rolling my eyes or, making noises or anything like that, clearing my throat. Not fair. So I appreciate that, and I create room for that to happen. So that's going to be my role. Let me go through staff then, as you see on the screen. We've talked about, I mean, Bethany has done a terrific job. And one of the things that happened last semester is we had a managing editor and a business manager who had disappeared midway through the semester, maybe a little earlier than that. So Bethany and I spent a good part of the semester trying to track those people down, first of all, and then compensating behind the scenes, wearing different hats for those two. Those are very important roles. So that was a lot of what we did last semester. As far as the wall goes in the office, for the record, last semester I had put forward a request that that wall be patched, primed, and painted. And they came in and they patched, which we appreciate, but it didn't get primed and painted. And when I inquired about that, they said, well, that's a separate job and they wouldn't be able to get to it till this summer, which I'm not pleased about. I checked in with Matt Delaney, who is the administrative leader of the facilities team, the boss of facilities, and he said that he asked, and I got no response. And then I think Matt Delaney retired, so I believe I know who the replacement is, and I am going to pursue this question. I don't think there's any reason they can't come in and patch, prime, and paint that. It would take a day. So, um, right, and we're trying to spruce up the office. There was a bunch of newspapers there, some of you may recall, that had been nailed to the wall. So I took all of those down. Let's do this right. Let's get the wall painted. We can put up decorations, framed work, and other, tasteful things. We want it to be a nice space. I did invest in some of the things that are hanging in the room to give it a Kutztown feel. So we're trying to make all of that happen. Yeah. Okay. So I was talking about Bethany and Bethany leadership. And if you have questions, go through Bethany. Don't come to me first. That's what I'm trying to get to. I get involved when I need to, and I provide general coaching. And if you need clarification on things or just want to talk to me, my door is open. But day to day, you want to talk to Bethany and you want to talk to Alice. Okay, I'll stop there on Bethany's role. Alice, as explained, is the managing editor. That is the person that is responsible for production, for making sure that things move through Trello. I've already spoken to that. Our website manager is Jacob Regensberger, has been doing a terrific job coming to all the meetings, posting all the stories, building his resume. Terrific. A sports editor, we had a very good sports editor, but she has moved on. I think she transferred to a different school, Gianna. So we are going to need to advertise for that position. That's something that I take care of. We do use Handshake. We try to. That's a whole conversation that I can explain separately. We've got some Handshake can be weird in terms of people that apply for various reasons, but I'll speak to that later. We've got John Mahoney coming back, lead writer. We've got Tommy Scuderi who's coming back, and I don't, I did lead writer. There's a rule for that. Bethany knows that I think you have to write for a year and contribute a certain number of articles, and then you can be promoted. So we want to make sure that all of these titles on the staff page are correct. So if Tommy's eligible, then I support that. Jalal's been with us for a little while. I'm not sure off and on. I'm not sure where that stands, but if you have questions, that goes to Bethany. Astra has been with us as well. I don't know if these get converted. I'm just drawing my attention to it and questioning, whether or not it needs to be changed. Ami has been doing a great job. We've got an involvement fair coming up, so Ami can speak to that. Please, when any staff member says, I need help with something, it is your job, because you are paid staff, it is your job to step up and say, I can do that, I can help, I can be there for an hour, right? Don't linger and hope somebody else does it. This is a work environment. Okay. Linda and Izzy, our copy editors, done a great job. I often provide coaching on AP style to the entire staff, how to put together a news story. If you would like me to talk about something specific, if you have questions, I will be glad to host a workshop. The one thing that I don't know so well, I kind of know it because I see it going on in the background, but I don't get involved in Trello at all. It is not up to the advisor to make day-to-day decisions about what goes in the newspaper. My job is to coach. So if you have questions about Trello, they should be directed to Bethany and Alice. Okay. Graphic design editor. I believe that we have recently interviewed someone there, so hopefully that position gets filled quickly. We do run, if you look at our website, it is required. It's mandatory to run an image with every story we run. Otherwise, because of the design in our template, it looks like there's a hole. It looks weird. We don't want that. So any writer who is working on a story should either secure an authorized image. We need to know where it comes from and who has possession of it. No taking anything off the web, ever. Or you take your own photo, or you speak with the graphic design editor who will then conjure something up. How that works. Alex has done a great job coming on the scene, comes to all the meetings, and has been doing cartoons for us. We've got right, we've got a print version out. I don't know if it doesn't want to show. Yeah. So we did the print version. Well done. I have some questions and guidance on that so that they are going to our target audience. So I think some research needs to be done. I would maybe suggest that Alice and I talk about that, but maybe hand it off to somebody. essentially what I'm thinking about is somebody would contact all the department secretaries throughout the university and say, would you mind? We are trying to target these print editions, but we don't want to see them end up in the garbage, but we also know that people want them. So could you do a quick email poll of your department and see if anybody is interested? And if they come back and say zero, then we don't take any there. Yeah, right? We act accordingly. Business manager is next. This is such an important position. Hoping that we hire a good business manager and it's someone that can take the lead on our behalf with KUSSI, which is Kutztown University Student Services. They are the group that pays our bills. And speaking of KUSSI, we just completed the purchase of, well, it's in the works now, but the approval for the purchase of 2 new computers for the office. We'll get rid of the old ones. We will have then InDesign on both of them, and we'll be able to do layout. Bethany's talking about 8 of those a year. And again, we'll see how it goes. We've got the first one out. It looks great. I have questions about distribution, and we do have 2 QR codes. Maybe we can pump that up a little bit more. Okay. Getting my bearings now. Okay, I'm looking over at my notes. That was off the top of my head. Fix the wall. Recruitment fair, yes. Involvement fair, yes. That's AMI. We've been looking to solve personnel issues here, and we need a sports editor. And salaries, then you will be paid February, March, April, May. So I will put through the paperwork today or tomorrow. And I think you get paid midway through February or near the end of February. You can check with other staff to see if you're new. We are in the process. Bethany and I, over the break, met with Robert Fosha, Dr. Robert Fosha, who teaches in the English department. Interesting things have happened. He was brought in to teach public relations and is still doing that. But recently, I'm not exactly sure, but there have been decisions made, and the public relations program has shifted to the communication department, which has left Bobby uncertain, right? Long story short, we're bringing him into the Keystone. He can help with PR. He also has a mind for news. So we'll bring him in on that as well as a secondary advisor so he can begin to learn the ropes. So I'm introducing Robert Fosha, Bobby Fosha, and you may see him come to meetings from time to time. Okay, more on that later. Publishing goals for spring, continue to publish daily. My expectation is that we have 14 weeks of class, and okay, let's take 2 off at the beginning, or 1 at the beginning, 1 at the end. Give me 12 weeks times 5. That's one publication for every day of the week, and that's 60. Give me 60 publications, and they can be slideshows, they can be news stories, they can be video, but let's shoot for that. I will track it. Pennsylvania News Media Association has an annual conference, and the requirements should be available now on their website. So I would put that into Bethany's agenda so that she can talk about that with you. Print project continues. I believe you have been communicating as a staff with Bethany. That's good. Distribution questions are ongoing. Bethany and I had the idea of exploring a donation button, and we're going to ask Jacob to explore that. And we're also talking about AdSense, which is the Google advertising program. We were hesitant to get involved with that because they start sticking ads all over your publication. And we were hesitant about that, but it's been really hard for us to generate revenue. I'm not going to go deep into that right now, but I think we may have to do that. We did, thanks to John Mahoney. We were able to raise, I think, $700 through the 1866 challenge last semester. So we were able to put some private money into our account. So that's good. We hadn't been, when we were print, we generated money regularly, and editors would use that money to travel. We had students go to California. I think they went to Las Vegas back in my old Downing part one, and then Downing stepped away because we had hired a full-time journalist, and he was here for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, and took over the newspaper, and then he left, and then I'm back. So that's the story there. So we're trying to get the advertising revenue going again. Hmm. Donation button. Story leads, then you talk to Alice. We also have a squad locker promotion. So that is a way for us to sell, to generate revenue. And it's one of these things where you can order a hoodie and then they will put our logo on it and they will send it to the person, who ordered it, you or whoever it might be. So let's, share that link. I'm looking at it right now. It is on our D2L site. We do use D2L for weekly announcements and whatnot. There have been some changes related to accessibility. So, Bethany, you'll need to be sensitive to that. When you post something, you're going to see an AI meter saying this is not acceptable, right? The answer is plain text, just plain text. No bullet points, no outlines, no boldface, just plain text. Because what it can do then is it can change that into accessible other forms like PDFs or whatever else it needs to be. So that's the whole thing. I think it's a good idea, Ami. I think Bethany is going to talk with you about putting our weekly meetings on Engage. So talk to student involvement and have our new graphic designer create a little graphic design. You'll see it if you go to Engage and you look at the front page, you will see Student Government Board has all of their meetings posted. It's a cute little graphic kind of thing. We should have the same kind of thing. It will be good for recruitment. It's easy to do. All of that stuff gets us on Engage. And then the whack thing about Engage is from time to time, since I live in town, I wonder what's going on campus. And I did an AI search just to see if usually my results are bad. I can't tell. You can try to look at the central calendar, but if the persons who are running the event didn't put it there, it won't be there. So I did an AI search just to see if the results would be better. And I saw that it was pulling things from Engage. And then I looked at Engage and I said, this is not a very good place. It's just not maintained by the student groups that are involved. So, but my point is, if AI is looking to engage and we are looking to recruit, let's use Engage to get on AI, right? You see how my brain works. Ongoing cooperation with KUR, Kutztown University Radio. I recommend this very highly. This has been a long-standing collaborative relationship. They're right across the hall. And if you write a story, go and record it, and they will run it, and you will make friends at the radio station, and you should put that on your resume. Especially if you're professional writing and you're looking to build your resume, you should have a list of publications, potentially presentations, which some of you have, and we'll be doing that again at the KU Composition Conference. We did that last year, so we'll be doing it again. So do it, and you get that radio experience. And then you can put on that list of publications, if you're with me, publications, presentations, and then just put radio. And then you can say the title of the story, KUR radio, and the date. Stack a few of those. Do it 3 times. That's the magic number. So if you have 5 publications, 2 presentations, and 3 radio by the time you graduate, it's beautiful. Okay. Training workshops. I've taught that. I've talked about that. I've taught those. Headline, subhead, and lead writing exercises are typically useful. AP style is useful. I'm getting a lot of this out now in the video. So, thanks for watching. Alice and on story leads. And we've got interviews and new computers. And there's a reminder to me to do one more thing. Okay, I think that covers it. Thanks for watching. I will see you soon. I will not see you this upcoming Monday, maybe only briefly. I am a member of the Kutztown Borough Environmental Advisory Committee, and we have our meetings on Monday, but they're just the first Monday of the month. So typically what I do is I'll show up at the Keystone office before I go over there. So if you need me, get there quickly and ask me any questions. Bethany and I usually have a quick meeting before your meeting starts. But then otherwise, the other 3 Mondays, I'm typically available. I think that's it. I'm going to stop my share, come back here, stop the recording. Again, thanks for watching. This is all important stuff. I covered a lot of ground, and I will see you all soon.